Hello and welcome to baking lesson number 1. Today we will be making chocolate chip cookies. Let's make sure you have your hair up, your apron on, and your hands washed. Now let's get started with the ingredients. First, you're going to need 1 cup of softened butter, margarine, or shortening, whatever you prefer to call it. Softened means you can stick your spatula in it and it'll mix up just fine. Next, we're going to need 1 cup of packed brown sugar. Following that, 1 cup of granulated sugar, followed by 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 3/4 cup flour, and 2 cups of chocolate chips. Now we need to preheat our oven to 375 degrees. Every oven is different, so make sure you check your owner's manual before you do this step. Now we're going to add our butter into the mixing bowl. Make sure you get all of it. We don't want to waste anything. Next, we're going to add the brown sugar. Sometimes these are a little tricky to get in here if you're not using exact measuring cups. And the granulated sugar. Now, we're going to let this mix on low until it's well blended. Now, once that is all mixed together, we're going to crack in our egg. Once that is thoroughly mixed in, we'll add the vanilla extract. Drop it in and mix that all up. Now, while you're waiting for that to mix up, it's time to make our flour mixture. Get your 2 3/4 cup flour, your tablespoon of baking soda, and your teaspoon of salt. Whisk it all together. Make sure that it's very evenly mixed in there. You don't want some cookies having some salt and baking soda and others not. So once it's really well mixed in, check your mixture. Turn it off and get ready to add your flour. It's best to do this step by using a smaller utensil than just this large bowl. Now this is going to be the longest part of your mixing process for chocolate chip cookies. When you're adding flour, you need to make sure that you do it at a slow and even pace. So we're going to start our mixer and add about a 1/2 cup at a time. You want to make sure that you let that addition get thoroughly mixed in before you add another. Now I've already pre-mixed some of this, so expect yours to take longer than I am showing you. Now that that's mixed in, we'll add another one. You might have to do some additional scraping with your spatula to make sure that everything is well mixed. You can hear it start to slow down. That's because our dough is getting thicker. Now it's time to add the chocolate chips, the best part. We'll start our mixer on low again and add these just like you did the flour. You don't want to overwhelm the mixer because the dough's going to get really heavy at this point. And it might even jump around, so you need to make sure you have a hand on the mixer to steady it. Alright, that looks pretty well mixed. Turn it off. Release the mixer. You're going to have a lot of cookie dough hanging up here. You need to make sure you get it down with the rest of them. Now that we're finished mixing, I like to take my spatula and kind of make it into a big kind of ball of dough in the middle of our mixing bowl. Next, I'm going to take 2 tablespoons to put the dough into rough shaped balls onto our cookie sheet. You want to make sure they're about the same size, so sometimes you have to add a little more to make them even. Now, if you're making these, say, at home, and you're not making them for a large group, a good idea is to put the rest of the dough that you don't use in the refrigerator so that you can have an appropriate amount of cookies for each person that you're serving them to, and you can use them for the rest of the week. But if you're going to make them for a large party and you want to make all of the dough, then make sure you have a couple cookie sheets ready, because you're going to be putting them in the oven and taking them out and cooling cookies, because this makes quite a few. Now that our oven is fully preheated to 375 degrees, we're going to place in our cookie sheet. You want to make sure it's on the middle rack and that you leave enough space on each side so that the heat can rise. Now these cookies, because this is a gas oven, are going to take about 12 to 15 minutes to cook. So I'm going to set the timer and we'll see you then. Alright, it's been 15 minutes. Our cookies have that nice golden brown color to them. We're going to take them out of the oven, come straight over to the cooling rack. We're going to place them onto the cooling rack and let them cool for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then they're ready to enjoy. Now that I've shown you how to bake chocolate chip cookies, it's your turn. In this class period, your assignment will be with your group to make your own batch of chocolate chip cookies. I look forward to seeing your results, and next week we'll be covering cake baking. Thank you.